All right, Miles, let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. This is a team obviously going into a big change. They obviously made a new addition at quarterback. They moved off Derek Carr. They got Jimmy Garoppolo. The future looks pretty good on the offensive side of the ball. We talked about the new addition, Michael Meyer at tight end. But the Raiders very quietly made a very sneaky under the radar move heading into the last weekend that I think will be huge for them in 2023.
Yeah, Nick, I think this is going to be a really big move for the Raiders. I think they're going to love what they have going on, and it's going to help them out in more ways than one. But before we get into this story, Nick, I want to ask the Raiders fans in the comments below. We've been asking a lot of teams this question, and you're no different because you have a lot of great answers here. So let us know in the comments below, who is your favorite Raiders running back of all time? A couple names stick out at the top of my head, but I'm dying to know who is your favorite or the guy that you think is the best Raiders running back of all time. Make sure to stay tuned to the end of today's video to hear from our partner, Neuro. They have some amazing products to give you a quick and easy boost of energy. We love to take their mints or gum right before the show, keep us focused, keep us on the cutting edge of this breaking news, allow us to get the best stories for you. So make sure to stay tuned to the end of today's video to hear more about Neuro's products and get your hands on our discount code. But nonetheless, Nick, let's get into it. What is the latest of the great moves the Raiders have made?
Yeah, man. So when the story first broke, it seemed to just an ordinary acquisition for a team like the Raiders to make. But after taking some more time and digging deep into it, I think this is actually a really good move by the Las Vegas Raiders. And if you want to go ahead and throw up the report from Raiders Wire, I will read from it. From the report, just ahead of OTAs, the Raiders have added some much-needed competition at the guard position. Joining the battle for the starting right guard spot is former Jets and Panthers starting guard Greg Van Roten. The ninth-year pro has appeared in 93 career games and started 54 of those games over the past 5 seasons for the Panthers, Jets, and the Bills. All right, so obviously the name Greg Van Roten, it's not going to make any Raiders fan go like, whoa, we got a lot better. We do have to take a step back and look at the Raiders' offensive line, especially their right guard position, Miles, because if you look at Alex Bars, the guy who's currently, according to ESPN anyway, I think it's a battle, but right now he is the starter first string on the depth chart. His PFF grade last season, 45.4. That is bad. Really, really bad. PFF grades are normally a little tougher. We usually like to say anything in the 70s is a good solid player. 80s is like a Pro Bowl. 60s, 50s, that's bad. You do not want to have that as one of your starters. In the 40s, that is disastrously bad. That can blow up an entire offense. So I think getting a guy here in Van Roten who has quality experience, he's a veteran, he's been around the block, he's played for some really good teams. He's very versatile, had snaps at center, left guard, and right guard in his career. He's been a very active guy. He's played for a bunch of good teams. You look at the Buffalo Bills most recently, so he's got some winning pedigree, winning experience. I think him coming into the fold right away, I know it's a competition at right guard. I think he's going to be the starter at right guard. I think he is almost by default because the Bars was a 45 grade, but I think he's going to be a massive upgrade at that position. And I think Raiders fans will really like this move come fall time when he starts playing for them. Miles, what do you think of this move and just everything with the Raiders right now?
Yeah, Nick, I think this is going to be a big upgrade. Obviously, he played a lot of right guard last season, but he also played a lot of center last season, even played a snap at the left guard position. So he can move all around that interior of the offensive line. So at the very least, let's say Bars hit this offseason hard, comes out, he's an elite player now. This guy is going to be some great backup. So at the very least, you got great backup. Most likely, you're going to get a sufficient upgrade at the right guard position. I think this guy is at least, 20 or so points better than Bars on a PFF grading scale. I think he's in the mid 60s right now. So a good upgrade over a guy like Bars. But I love when teams are looking to fix problems and not try to break the bank, Nick, because adding a guy like Van Roten to this line isn't going to cost you a whole heck of a lot of money, and it's going to allow you to have a significant upgrade on a problem. So you immediately fix a problem. You have a guy that isn't going to be an all-pro. He isn't going to be a world beater, but he is going to be a serviceable right guard for you, something that kind of has been a problem a little bit in the past. And you want to have a solid offensive line, especially for a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo back there. You don't want any extra pressure on him because he has been injured in the past. You don't want to get him hurt. He can be a very, very good quarterback. He can take you all the way to the Super Bowl if he is healthy. So I think them investing in this offensive line shows they believe in Garoppolo. And heck, Nick, with a receiving core, I think we've talked about this 100 times. The receiving core that Raiders have, the running back the Raiders have, the tight ends the Raiders have, they all look like this is all of the weapons that any quarterback would ever need. So healthy Jimmy G, a good offensive line, and this bevy of weapons the Raiders have, It's going to be good. They're going to be going pretty far this season, and I am looking for a huge turnaround versus where they were last year.
Yeah, Miles, I think you hit the nail right on the head when you talk about the fact that shoring up the interior offensive line to protect against injuries involving Jimmy Garoppolo is actually a huge part of this move. I'm sure it was a big part of Ziegler's thinking when he made this decision, because it just makes sense, right? If you look at this roster, like you brought up, they're really, really good on offense. They've got all the talent. Josh McDaniels, we're going to assume he's, second year as a head coach. Things are going to get better. Organization, culture, things like that are going to start to develop more and more. The only thing that could really trip them up is an injury to Jimmy Garoppolo. One of the ways you help protect against that, you mitigate some of that risk, is you bring in a veteran guard who I think is an upgrade over the guy they already brought in Bars. I think they brought in Bars because they felt they needed to bring in somebody. You got a guy here in Van Roten who I think is a better player. Like you said, he's going to be coming in on the cheap. So no matter how you look at it, this is a really smart move by the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro Gum. Neuro Gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.